Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
We have had a little bit of technical difficulties on this One Word Wednesday, so we're doing it live.
Yeah.
Why not?
I didn't know we could.
I didn't know we could either. It's a little chaotic, but that's what we do.
Okay, so good.
It's just so different when it's live. I don't feel the same kind of.
Just pretend like we're recording.
We're recording.
Yeah.
Just I can't say any profanities because it's live. Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. I am Spencer Cartier.
I am Anna.
I feel weird now that
daughter of Penuel.
there's not a divider.
Tribe of Asher.
I feel more comfortable when I
No, I agree.
have a barrier.
I agree. We're leaving Frank in the... Are we talking loud enough?
And this here is Frank wearing his Paramount Picture Plus hoodie, looking good as always.
Yes.
Handsome boy. All right, look at this. We're like a oh nope.
What happened?
I'm just trying to make it look nice.
Okay.
What's worse?
Bear with us because
Heck yeah.
this can get better and better.
We might have just opened a door
We might have.
for what will be our live show every Wednesday.
Yes.
I don't know. So, what were we saying before we had technical difficulties?
I have them 4 hats.
You have them 4 hats.
It's the first Wednesday of Lent.
It is.
Or is it the
I
second?
like how you're still talking to the mic.
Yes. Or is it the second?
It is the
Last Wednesday was Ash Wednesday.
yeah. So it's the second Wednesday.
It's this
The second week of Lent. We've just began the second week of Lent.
Right.
I have not been on TikTok.
Right.
That's really all I gave up. And people still send me TikToks.
Oh.
And I see it, and I'm
Temptation.
like, and I yell, I'm like, I'm not on TikTok anymore.
Right.
It's like I think with alcoholics, if like you hand them a beer, and then they're like, why did you even put this in front of me?
Yeah.
Because now I can just press it and watch it. Especially when they're like, LOL, this is totally you, and I'm like,
Oh.
Now
No, that's good because every time you resist temptation.
the devil.
Yes.
Sheds one tear.
And you can say the new Lord's Prayer that says, lead us not into temptation. No.
No, it's the new version is, and allow us not to be tempted.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And let us not fall into temptation.
Let us not fall into temptation.
He's not leading us.
You can scoot back a little bit.
Okay. I didn't know if you could hear me.
Just don't talk to the mic. Talk over here.
Talk about unusual. I feel, okay. So, let us not fall into temptation.
Let us not fall into temptation.
So, Lent. So, I have on 4 hats.
You do.
So, for people who weren't here last week.
You are now adding a hat for every
Lenten
podcast of Lent.
Every podcast of Lent.
It's not going to work. Look at you already, and you're going to...
I can't see because we no longer have the ability to see ourselves. So, this was... Well, actually, they're not the same hats because when we go off air, I take them off.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's an important clarification.
Yeah, I'm adding, but I don't walk around like that all day long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fit in the car, you know?
Small car.
I'm pretty up there, so, to the roof. So, it represents last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now Wednesday.
Okay.
Tomorrow there'll be another one. Friday there'll be another. So I'll have 6 hats by the end of the week.
Are you getting overheated?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I like it. I wish I could do it all the time, but I'm only doing it for Lent.
That's probably for the best.
Well, we'll see. So yeah, today I lost my phone, and it was like Barbie Day, Meatball Day, Crab Day, and therefore they're fun days, but not unfortunately, but if we had done this podcast yesterday, it was
International Women's Day, which is very important. We love women on this podcast.
Of course.
Biblical women.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's start naming some. First of all, the importance of biblical women.
Anna, daughter of Penuel, tribe of Asher.
Heck yeah. The importance of the women in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they are just as, like, how do I phrase this? Because the Bible was written a very long time ago.
Right.
in a time where we do not have the equality that we have today. Yet you see some of these figures in the Bible that played such an inaugural role in all of the dominoes that needed to fall for everything to happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And even to the point of, it's not just all like, oh, but she was a queen and stuff. You see these names like Mary Magdalene and stuff, where it was just an ordinary woman,
right,
who did extraordinary things.
Yes.
And was praised.
Yes.
So, yeah, who else? You know, we got Marys. I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, but the most important Mary. And we talked about her a few times. We said her prayers and her story a few times. The Magnificat. We talked about Hannah's song last week, and Hannah's song,
the mother of Samuel.
Yes, she was an important Bible woman, and it was. But the song of Hannah not mimicked, but was similar to the song of Mary, where she also thanks God.
Who else?
Well, I said Anna, who I was today. Anna was, I believe, but we're so discombobulated. I think when Jesus ran away from home.
He did.
And they found him in the temple. I believe she was a prophet who was talking about the little boy.
Oh, okay.
And of course we're huge fans of the Sight and Sound Theater, and we just went and saw a play about a very important biblical woman.
Being
Esther.
Ruth. I always mix up Esther and Ruth. Not because they are mix-upable. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's because they both had small late Old Testament books that were short.
Okay. Yeah, they are short books.
Ruth and Esther.
Yeah.
But we saw Esther.
Esther.
Whose name before it changed to Esther was
Hadassah.
Hadassah. Nice to meet ya.
Yeah. So International Women's Day. Did you celebrate women internationally?
No. I kept it national, even though I shouldn't have. I should have been more, had a broader outlook.
Well, you don't look at borders really. So to you,
they're all my sisters.
They're all, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to the other side of the world.
No, yeah. Shout out, women. Shout out the women in Ukraine.
Yes.
Saw this thing where it was
tough and
yeah, real tough,
determined,
and
hopeful.
I saw this thing. They were talking about, not to get too political on this live because I won't be able to cut anything out, but it was saying one of the things that Vladimir Putin underestimated when accounting for how many people do we need to take over this amount of people. Mm-hmm. He wasn't taking into account all the women that were going to put up a fight. You know, because it was like, okay, well, we have a troop of 100,000 and they have 50,000 men. It's like, well, hey, Putin, you forgot about International Women's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, Ukraine is reminding me of Revolutionary America, where people don't know that. Women did fight.
Well, what's that one painting of the girl with the plunger down the cannon?
I don't know.
She has a name, and we talked about it because it wasn't even a real name.
Oh, that's right.
Was it Mary?
Molly Pitcher?
Molly Pitcher.
No, was it Molly Pitcher?
Yeah, Molly Pitcher.
Oh, okay. And also, we're going to have no editing, so we can't add all the graphics later.
So you just have to assume that there's a painting about Molly Pitcher.
So, yes, women to be celebrated, the oldest women in the world who are past their hundreds, and we have a brand new baby woman, female, born to our good friends, baby Callie.
Callie?
She's like the first female. They've had a bunch of grandsons. She's the first granddaughter.
To who?
Sierra's cousin.
Oh. Yeah. You were just saying the first
granddaughter. I thought everybody knew because we were showing her picture all around. And we can't even add the picture because we don't have editing on this one.
And that's okay.
That's okay, yeah.
It's just us today. No magic of post-edit.
People have to use their
old noggins. Imagine a baby.
Imagine a really cute baby with like a dimple and like a big bow and chubby cheeks.
They were born with a big bow?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can order them like that now. Yeah, so that is the introduction. International Women's Day. We had to go live.
Had to go live. You know what? The devil. I'm not afraid to talk about the devil. The devil tried to stop us today.
He did.
And he said, you are not going to get on this podcast on this Wednesday like you've been doing every Wednesday for the past 2 years.
No.
And I said, no, I didn't even say it. I was ready to give up. the devil beat me down. I said, I give up. And you said, no,
No.
Spencer. How about?
I said, naked I came into this world, and naked I will depart it. The Lord has given, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. That's a verse from Job, and it tells you...
You should get a Job tattoo.
I'm going to, but it's going to look Job.
Well, no, don't get, like, if you have to get a picture of, like, something that represents it.
Yeah.
Like lesions on your body or something.
Wow. I just get Job with one of those lines over the O that tells people it's a long sound. No, it's just saying that, we lost connection because of this windy March day, knocked out our electric. It just means you get taken away, and you don't turn on the Lord for it. You just say, continue to praise His name, and things will work out.
Yes. Yeah, you think when old Paul was in jail, he was like, well, that's it.
This is too far.
He's like, this is all part of the game.
Yes.
This is all part of the mission.
And that is a good verse too for the Ukraine, isn't it?
Naked I came in this world, naked I will depart. So I might as well be naked all through the middle of that as well.
You could look it up, but it's may the name of the Lord be praised.
Yes. That's
our introduction. We're supposed to do One Word Wednesday, and the word was going to be imitation.
The Imitation Game. Have you seen that?
No.
That was about the English nerds. No. Well, they were, but in the best way. They were heroes.
Okay.
Who decoded the German, World War II German. Forget what they were decoding. And
they were sending secret messages.
Yeah, the encoded messages that were going places. And it was like they were unbreakable, because they had a coding software.
Right.
Where you would write it like a typewriter, and it would change it to this code that could only be decoded if you knew that had the key. And
back when there was no computer programs that could run 24 hours
and
until
so
they found it.
These group of English people, they cracked it, and it did a lot. One of the things, it was the Germans were talking to Mexico, and they were like, hey, we're gonna invade through Mexico.
Okay.
And by this decoding, they were able to stop that in its tracks. The movie is called Imitation Game.
Why though? Imitate, what is imitating about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So imitation is supposedly the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
And that's what you say to somebody when they're mimicking you, and then you say, I don't really like that. And then it's like, well, I'm someone that can be imitated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's also imitation crab meat.
More importantly.
But spiritually, what would be the imitation angle?
So, no, that's the thing, right? Spiritually. Well, no, back to the, just before you even go there, to the imitation is a sincere form of flattery. That is sometimes you get insulted.
Yeah.
When you're like, why are you trying to be like me?
Right.
Or I don't know how to phrase this. Everyone wants to be an individual, right? And so we're afraid to imitate.
Yeah.
We're afraid, I don't want to look like I'm, but I think imitation is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from a spiritual angle, is not the phrase, what would Jesus do?
Right.
The definition of imitation is
Absolutely.
Imitate good behavior.
Yes.
And stay away from bad behavior.
Yes.
And that's a problem. When you're in these group settings, sometimes you might imitate bad behavior in this mob sort of mentality, in the casting of stones. It was you think all of those people knew this woman was an adulterer, or do you think he's like, we're mad at her, and then why are we mad? We're mad at her.
Yes.
And it was only then Jesus who stepped up and said, chill.
Right.
Chill.
Yeah. When you look up imitation in the Bible, you're going to see a few verses, and not half, but I'll just say, we'll just pretend we're breaking it that way. Half is being told to not imitate people who are doing bad, and the other part is saying, absolutely imitate what is good. I have 3 John 1:11, which I don't have the whole thing, but it is, do not imitate what is evil. And I think it goes on and says, I'll put it in the description or the comments because we're not doing editing. But it's saying, do not imitate what is evil, imitate what is good. And why reinvent the wheel? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are these berries poisonous and everyone keeps dying? Like, you see that person ate the poisonous berry.
It was Jaden Smith, which I don't usually take my life advice from him, but at this point I do.
You can find stuff everywhere, even in a Dr. Seuss book.
And I think it might have been him, but what he was talking about was that idea. And he was saying, I believe it was about his rap career.
Okay.
And people were accusing him of, like, jocking styles or going through routes that are following or imitating other people.
Right.
And he's saying, I'm an individual, all right, and I want to be known as an individual, but look at it as a dark room with steps. Mm-hmm. You know, like you have to like, hop to the next step. And once you hop to the next step, it lights up.
Okay.
And it's like all the people before you have, like, I think he was saying, like Drake, he went on this step. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go on that step. And it's like, why would you not? I would just say, I don't care about that. I'm going to jump in the dark.
Right.
And it's that idea of we have so many resources around us of good things, of like, the same way, how many people go to successful seminars and what do they say? It's like follow me, because I did it and you can do it too.
Right.
And it's the same way with spirituality. You know, you can imitate it, and it all boils down to what would Jesus do? If you just read the Bible and it's like, I'm going to imitate, you know, the life that Jesus lived of kindness and compassion and love. It's like that's the greatest imitation you can do.
Right.
And so because sometimes it's harder for ourselves to do things, but imitation almost makes it easier, if that makes sense. Like, in your own mind and your own impulses, it's like, I want to punch that person in the face.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, how about you try not to be like you for a second?
Yeah.
Imitate what you aspire to be. It's like,
absolutely. Okay,
I'm going to imitate what would Jesus do. It's like, he wouldn't punch that person.
Yeah. And
the same way, a lot of our guilt comes from, you know, if we're, like I said earlier, that mob mentality where it's like, you do something negative when you're with negative people, and you walk away from it, and you don't have the same hardened heart as they do.
Right. And
then it weighs on you, and it's like, I was imitating their behavior, but that was never me.
Right. So it would, there's nothing wrong with imitation. Once you have, like, thought about if it's good behavior or bad behavior.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, and you want to emulate good behavior.
Right.
You want to stay away from bad behavior. But I think life without imitation is almost impossible.
Right.
You know, like, it's sort of part of human nature to... What makes us great is also, you know, what can make us bad is how malleable we are.
Right.
And so it's like, that's the whole age-old thing of like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's like, even subconsciously you begin to imitate those around you.
Right.
And so, in a way, it's like also surround yourself in good environments so like when you start to imitate, just like a baby learns how to talk.
Yeah.
And it gets an accent from the environment it's around. Right. Let your spiritual accent be surrounded by good people.
Right.
Good things rather than bad things, and then... I
like this concept, spiritual accent.
Spiritual accent.
If you pick up a good spiritual accent, like, you know, if you speak now, they'll say, we could tell you're from, you know, this area. You could tell you're from down south. You can tell you're from somewhere, you know, but if you have a spiritual accent, so like the way you're talking is saying where your beliefs lie.
Yeah. And is it not the same of like, in the sense of, you know, like Christianity is so big and there's so many, like, you can find another Christian who you basically disagree with everything, right? And so it's like, you're living in the same country in this spiritual metaphor,
right.
But you have different spiritual accents. And it's like, oh, I can tell you and I are different and the same. And then there's things that we don't understand, you know, like from like other, like different religions where it's like, oh, they speak a different language.
Right.
But if you were able to translate each other, would you not maybe have the same views?
Right.
When you just hear it, you're like, I don't know what you're saying. Fish posh applesauce.
Yeah. We don't have a moderator, so if we're not responding or doing things correctly, it's because this is Surprise Wednesday where we're just trying this.
Overwhelming Wednesday.
It's Overwhelming Wednesday, absolutely. So I don't know if this is true, but I heard that cats learned how to imitate the cry of a human baby to get attention.
Really? Well, you know what?
Is that true?
I don't know about a human baby, but what I learned is, I don't know about all meows and stuff, but like meowing isn't communicating with other cats. It's to just get the attention of humans. Like they have other ways to communicate with each other.
Right.
I don't know what that has to do with any of this, but
well, imitation.
Oh.
They're using imitation to their benefit.
Yeah.
Because that's a way they can communicate.
Yes.
Where they otherwise couldn't.
Now, my question is this.
Okay.
Now, this is like a deep philosophical question.
Okay.
That may lead to more questions than answers.
Okay.
But if we live in a world where it is all about imitation, that nature versus nurture, you were born this way, so you have these beliefs, where does our true selves fall? Like, how do we differentiate what we're imitating and who we really are? Like, when all that shell is washed away.
Right.
Like, how do we know the decisions we're making are not based on things external?
Yeah, well, that's a really deep question. No, I'm serious. And
we're alive that we can't.
That's a really deep question, and they do that like in these college classes of philosophy or
doctoral.
something. Yeah, and they'll say, "Who are you?" And then you'll say, "I'm a daughter," or something.
Spencer's like, well, that name was given to you.
Right.
And who are you? I'm an American man. It's
yeah.
Like, well, countries are just made up.
And they keep trying to do this, and like you just said, you could do it forever because all the way down to really who you are. But I think that's, even though on one hand it's like annoying, on the other hand it's good because we're really our souls.
Yeah.
And they won't be, all liking a certain perfume because that's what they were exposed to.
Yeah.
And so we are imitating. Just like I said, you have to imitate. Think about if what you're imitating is good, and then imitate it. So same thing. Like, if I like your cologne, I'm going to imitate it. For somebody or even myself. I don't know. And so then you'll say, well, do I really like this cologne, or do I have associations attached to it? Blah blah blah. But I don't. You could never. You have to be alone on a mountaintop with. And then you might be influenced by the birds, or you would imitate, the actions of the squirrels or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, imitation is how, like you talked about, walking, talking, all of this is imitation behavior.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be feeling bad about it. No,
and I think it's good, and I think obviously, yeah, it was a question with no answer, but our deepest soul selves is. I think it's sort of even indescribable of what that true self is, because I think it's not even based so much on words or actions, but deep feelings and emotions that are like love and hate and these things and everything else is just external.
Right. And
so when you get really into it, it shows that imitation sort of is just like a very on the shell expression of these deep feelings within, and so you want to feed those deep feelings within in the best way. So it's you want to conduct yourself and imitate the people that will make your deepest self feel better. Right. And
when you are, people say all the time you try to express yourself and you say, I don't have the words.
Yeah.
I don't have the words to express myself, and so that's why things catch on. Things are trending. Things are viral because somebody gets it. Someone hits on it.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to describe it.
Yeah.
And so yes, you want to have your original thoughts and ideas, but sometimes it's fatiguing and stressful because you're like, I just don't have the words to describe this, or I don't have the way in which I want to express this.
Yeah.
And that's with the Bible. If you are imitating the people in the Bible or the scripture, it's already written for you.
Yeah.
And if it speaks to you, and it'd be fine for you to imitate it.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, that's so much of this concept that's overused, and so we don't think about it of oh, what would Jesus do? It's he says follow, live like me, follow me. And what that really I feel like it's simplified having to live your life and go back and analytically look at okay, well, what do I do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? Right. It's imitation behavior, and you just you forget about the nitty gritty.
Right.
Like, okay, well, let me like the cast. And I feel like the two stories always use casting the stones and what would Jesus do. But when you are standing there, in a modern day casting of the stone situation, and you're like, oh, this person did something bad, and it's like, well, they're making a good argument. I don't know. Maybe I should hear both sides. Like, maybe I should do this. If that's hard and it's weighing on you, it's like, I don't know. Maybe if anything, you'll be a bystander. Like, I don't know both sides. They're mad at each other. But then the imitation behavior is, okay, well, what would Jesus do?
Right.
It's like, well, Jesus would say that nobody should be judging anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he does it so many times in the Bible of different situations and what he would do. And so what he's left us with in the Bible over anything else is basically a blueprint of like, this is what I would do.
Right.
And obviously you have free will. Because that's the thing. I mean, is that not so much of what the Bible is, where like, why do we get all these stories? We have free will. We can do bad, we can do good.
Mm-hmm.
There is the commandments in the Old Testament, but Jesus did not come here, to say like, okay, you're doing that. He did not give it like another set of commandments. If anything, he led by example.
Right.
But are those not all like commandments, right? Like where it's like, he said, this, I'm God on earth. This is what I'm doing. This is how I interact with this person. I look at this situation. This is what I see. This is the way I think about taxes. Boom, 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 boom. And now it's up to you. It's like, okay, well, that's what he did. I'm gonna follow that behavior, rather than, well, the law says right here that I need to intervene if there's casting the stones.
Right.
It's like, no, Jesus didn't do that. He said, I'm doing this. If you'd like to follow me, imitate my behavior in that situation, which is, I feel like, so much more based around love, where it's like, this is what I'm doing, and now you have someone to imitate.
Yes. Don't forget, so this is a live, and it's happening live.
It's happening right here.
I've watched lives before.
And
I hear them at the end say, I don't know how to post this. So before you close it out at the end, see how that we can save it on there. And if it doesn't save, then
then whoever is here is here. And you got to experience.
You had a private. This was like,
a little Patreon.
Yeah, but not Patreon. What's the one where like,
private room?
No, it's like you can you say, can you give me a birthday message? The wrong.
A little cameo.
Cameo, yeah.
Little cameo.
What I was gonna
free of charge for Women's Day.
What I was gonna say before, I keep losing the clock. There it is. I guess we can finish. I just wanted to say that as for imitation, like, so take we've talked about different people on the podcast. Go back and look at them.
Go back.
Different people, right? And we'll say, oh, like Lenny Kravitz wrote this song, or Billy Graham said this, and it's like, I want to imitate this certain thought process or behavior or action that they did. And then in our cancel culture, which was also a very old podcast, you can say, you're imitating him. Did you not know that he went to jail for running over sheep on purpose? Can you, I'll ask you, can you imitate a portion? My Irish.
It's March.
It's March already. Can you imitate something the person's doing, but not like without, like trying to, single white female, imitate the person, completely.
Yes. I mean, and I think that is what you should do. I think that's sort of what I said earlier, that Jaden Smith thing of like, he lit up a stair, because you're also watching, he went down a stair, not to do that. From one person, like, we use Jesus as the ultimate imitation, because that's the stairway up, the stairway to heaven. No pun intended, but you learn from it all. And it's like, you imitate, not just, I imitate this person, good behavior, imitate that person, bad behavior. You look at someone you idolize and like, you imitate the good and you learn from the bad.
Right.
And that's the whole progression of humanity in essence, is not like where it's like, we learn from our mistake. A lot of what's happening over in Europe right now, a big thing is like, do we not learn from our mistakes?
Right.
Like, and so the idea is work on the things that are good and try not to recreate the things that are bad. And we can all learn from each other. Like the whole point of living in a society, a Christian group of people, or just worldwide of any religion, is we're meant to learn from each other and all grow with each other.
Right.
Christianity is never meant to be inclusive. It's meant to be exclusive, and then the purpose of that is so that we can all grow together.
Christianity is not meant to be inclusive.
I never know inclusive or exclusive. You know what I mean? It's never meant to be exclusive.
Right.
Yes.
We don't want to exclude anybody.
It's meant to be inclusive.
Inclusive, yeah.
Never meant
Like what's happening.
Okay.
All right. It's just fun hijinks on a life.
It's alive.
So.
It's alive.
It's alive Wednesday. I don't know how you
I don't
want you
either.
to lose it.
But guys, thank you for coming to this
Tomorrow
live.
will be fixed, and tomorrow I'll have another hat on.
Yes. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, this is fun. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll never even post a regular video again.
Well, you would like that because you edit.
Yeah. Oh wow, we're done. I'm done. I can go to sleep after this. All right, guys. Till tomorrow, it'll be a real video. Maybe. Who knows? Bye.